Hello students, welcome to the class of Pole Science of 11 Arts, and today we will start from the topic fundamental duties. In the previous classes we read about the introduction of the Constitution, we read about some basic facts related to fundamental rights, then we read about all the rights or all the fundamental rights starting from right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational right, and right to constitutional remedies thoroughly. So today we will start from the next topic, that is fundamental duties. So let us proceed then. So fundamental duties are the ones that are recognized as moral obligations the citizens are expected to perform. Clear? There is a difference between fundamental rights and fundamental duties. Both are given by the Constitution, but relation or the related topic to fundamental rights, we can say that the rights are being given by the Constitution, which we can enjoy. But related to the fundamental duties, we can say that these are the duties that are given by the Constitution of India to every individual. These are the duties that we have to perform for our country as the responsible citizen. So these duties are actually the moral obligations that the citizens are expected to perform. That means these are the form of obligations according to which we as a responsible citizen should perform also, and in some cases we should obey also. Clear? So Article 51A under Part 4A of the Constitution of India speaks of the fundamental duties. Clear? In case of fundamental rights, it was Article 3, if you remember, where we can find the list of fundamental rights. And if a question comes that where, in which article we can find, or in which part we can find fundamental duties, it will be Article 51A under Part 4A. In case of fundamental rights, it was Part 3, but in case of fundamental duties, we can find it in Part 4A, that comes through Article 51A, in which we can find about fundamental duties. It was through the 42nd Amendment that these duties were introduced in the Constitution. So, as a change, as an important change that was made through the amendment, where these fundamental duties were included. That means earlier when the Constitution was made, at that time these fundamental duties were not included, but these fundamental duties were included through the 42nd Amendment, 42 number amendment, that means changes according to which these fundamental duties were introduced. So you are advised to note down all this in your copy and go through it. Clear? After the video is finished, after you have finished watching the video, you should revise also once. If you have any confusion, then you can ask through the comment section of the video. Clear? So these were all the facts that were related to fundamental duties, starting from moral obligations. That means it is the responsibility of us to perform as a responsible citizen. Then it comes under Part 4A, which is through Article 51A, and all these fundamental duties that were included through the 42nd Amendment. Clear? So let us know then, what are the fundamental duties of the citizen of India? Number 1 is to respect the national flag and the national anthem. The first and foremost duty related to the citizen of the country is that we as a citizen, or we as a responsible citizen, should respect our national flag and our national anthem. Clear? Whenever national anthem is being played, we should stand up, so in order to give respect. Clear? So number 1 point says that only, that we should respect the national flag and national anthem. Number 2, to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. And secondly, we as a citizen of India should do what? Should cherish also. Apart from cherishing, we should also follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. That means, apart from cherishing, we should also follow whatever the noble ideals were there which actually gave the way to the national struggle of freedom. That means, through which we actually got freedom. We should, apart from cherishing that we have gained freedom, apart from cherishing, we should also follow that noble ideals. Clear? The number 3 duty is to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity and integrity of the country. And number 3 is a very important point, because we as a responsible citizen should do what? We should uphold also and we should protect also. We should never do such type of things that will actually work against the unity and integrity of the country. We should always work and for the favor of the country, and we should work for the protection of, we should work in such a way that the country's sovereignty and unity and integrity should always be maintained. We should never work against breaking the unity and integrity of the country as a responsible citizen. So the number 4th fundamental duty is that citizens should be ready to defend and render national service towards India. That means, whenever and wherever needed, if the citizen of country is needed for emergency services or for national service, we should always be ready to contribute to that. We should be ready to defend also, and we should ready to render our services also. That means we should be always be ready to give our services whenever our motherland requires, through which we can protect our motherland. So we should defend also, we should be ready to defend also, and we should give our or render our national service towards our motherland. Clear? The number 5th fundamental duties is that to promote harmony and the spirit of brotherhood among all people of India on religious or sectional diversities, and to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. According to number 5 point, we should always promote harmony. That means we should try to bring harmony and peace, and also the peace spirit of brotherhood. That means, as we know that India is a country with unity in diversity, here we have many religions, starting from Hindus, Muslims, Christians, Buddhist, Jainism. Clear? So in view of that, we should always try to maintain harmony and peace. Along with that, we should also try to carry the spirit of brotherhood among every people of India, based on religion also, based on sectional diversity also. And we should also try to protect, apart from encouraging and promoting the brotherhood and harmony, we should also work for the upliftment of protecting the dignity of women. We should never underestimate, or we should never work against the dignity of women. We should always try to protect the dignity of women according to the 5th fundamental duty. Number 6, to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. And apart from that, we as a responsible citizen should do what? We should value also, and we should preserve also the rich heritage of our composite culture. That means we should be proud of our culture, of our Indian culture, and we should always preserve that. We should value also, we should be proud of that also. Along with being proud, we should give value, and apart from that, we should preserve also. That's such a rich heritage, such a rich culture we have. So we should be proud that as an Indian. The number 7 point is natural environment, including the forests, lakes, rivers and wildlife are expected to be preserved by the citizens. And moreover, according to fundamental duties, we as a responsible citizen should protect environment also. And in terms of environment, if we speak, we should try to protect forests, we should try to protect lakes, then thirdly rivers, and fourthly wildlife. These are all the assets of our country. So in order to protect natural environment, we should protect these four things, namely forest, lake, rivers and wildlife. This should be protected also, this should be preserved also. Clear? Because these are the unique features of our country. Apart from that, number 8 fundamental duties is that to develop the scientific temper, humanism and spirit of inquiry and reform. That means we should develop scientific temper also, that humanism also, and along with that spirit of inquiry and reform should also be there. Clear? We should be adapted to changes also, we should inquire also. Questions should raise in our mind also, we should be ready to change, ready for the changes also, whatever it is required. Apart from that, we should have the ability to develop our scientific temper also and humanism also. This is the number 8 fundamental duty. Number 9 is to safeguard public property and to avoid violence. So everything that the government does for the welfare and development of the society, whatever the buildings are there, whatever the properties are there, starting from parks, universities, schools, colleges, all these are what? Public property. That means it is for us, it is for the welfare of the people. So we should never try to actually destruct the public property, because this is for all of us. And apart from protecting and safeguarding the public property, we should also avoid violence. We should never encourage violence. We should always encourage peace, and we should avoid violence, and we should also try to safeguard public property. The number 10, people are expected for the excellence of all the individuals and collective activities to help in the development of the country. So number 10 fundamental duties tells that we as a citizens are expected for the excellence of all the individuals. Clear? That means we should collectively participate to help in the development of the country. Whosoever individual is there, an individual in his or her own way can make efforts to make the country develop in their own way, individually also and in a collective manner also. Whatever forms they can, that individuals or in a collective manner, they can help the country to grow or to develop. And last point about the fundamental duties is that to provide opportunities for education to child between the age of 6 to 14 years. Clear? That means this is one scheme of the government where free education is given to every kid starting from age 6 to 14 years. That means Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Under this Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, as it clearly tells that Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan means education for all, and this is for age group from 6 to 14 years. That means from the age group from where an individual attains the age of 6 and until 14 years, he or she is being given the right to education. That means education for all under the Government of India scheme, which comes under Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan. Clear? So that's why the India, according to rights against exploitation, if you remember the third right, according to that, no child is allowed to walk in any public places below 14 years of age. And the reason is for this only, that every child here is given the opportunity to study from the age group of 6 to 14 years continuously, and between this age he or she cannot be indulged in any work related activities. Clear? So that's why again right against exploitation, the second provision was there, that no child will be allowed to work whose age is below 14 or below. Clear? So today we have come to the end of the topic related to fundamental duties, and we read about the introduction of fundamental duties today, where we can find fundamental duties through Article 51A under Part 4A, where we can find about fundamental duties. We have gone through 11 fundamental duties. I hope that whatever the points we have studied today related to the fundamental duties, it is now clear to you. And in my next class we will make a comparative analysis of fundamental rights and fundamental duties. So with that I will wind up today's topic. Thank you.